That looks like a straight demon smiling. Oh my God.
What is that noise?
This is a gigantic ionospheric heater, again, in a different format.
La madre, ¿qué chingos es eso? Válgame la Virgen Santísima, pues ¿qué es eso, José? Mira. ¿Qué es eso? Se está partiendo el pinche... ¡Ah!
So I just found out that Tampa Bay is set to become a smart city. It's on the list of places to become smart cities, just like Lahaina was in Hawaii.
Some people have apparently turned away from moving into these 15-minute cities because aside from the gentrification that takes place, many of them feel that it's a totalitarian plot and theorize that it must be something greater going on with these large organizations.
That was a year. Welcome to New Greenwich.
I don't know if this electric company is some sort of sick joke or if it's something much, much bigger than that. But my friend Jeff saw this truck literally miles away from my house in Florida. Very interesting.
This entire video is for entertainment purposes only. It is up to us to distinguish fact from fiction and do our own research on everything. None of this is factual. You guys better lock in and buckle up because you're in for another disturbing and creepy TikTok reaction video. You want to be careful with these disturbing and crazy, scary theories. They might just change your reality and keep you up all night. If you haven't, hit that like and subscribe button and let's dive in. Hyper mode, activate!
Back now, it's far too dangerous. Warning.
We're going straight in. We need to collect this data.
Jet ski Chuck, pull back right now. Warning.
I don't care. We're going in. Quantum mode, activate.
Quantum mode achieved.
Ayusen!
Welcome to Dark Waters 9.
We'll get into it.
I want to show you some things, but I'm going to be very vague and just point a lot because, well, I don't want this video taken down. Had you ever seen that interesting little anomaly in the last hurricane that came through? The one that seemed to be coming from this direction. I wonder what's over here and what I could find in the map. Let's take a look. Oh, a United Nations building. How interesting. Why don't we take a closer look at that said United Nations building and complex and see what we can find. I found this to be very interesting. Very interesting. And when I found it even more interesting is when I found what was attached to it. Because, well, let me tell you, boy oh boy, is it interesting. Just a giant needle pointing straight up to the sky under a pyramid. No big deal. Oh, and its location. Again, remember. Seems to have a direct path to, I don't know, something that's bearing down on Florida right now. But maybe that's just me. I'm sure these aren't connected whatsoever. My mind is just running wild again. And this building that just happens to look like a bunch of sixes or a hurricane that's on the other coast of Florida and West Africa, I'm sure is just, again, one of those.
United Nations building, Australia. Activate, submersible. Oxygen levels.
Oxygen levels are at 100%.
The most insane HQ in the world, episode 11, the Australian Parliament House. Nestled amid Canberra's gentle hills lies the building, a modern-day architectural marvel symbolising democratic spirit. The iconic flag mast soaring skywards captures attention. The boomerang-shaped facade nods to Australia's indigenous heritage. Inside, the marble foyer's 48 columns mimic a eucalyptus forest, showcasing a harmonious blend of nature and governance. Venturing deeper reveals a design marvel, a bustling underground hub with offices, chambers, even a railway platform. Each corner echoes with debates and decisions molding Australia's future.
These are the ghost stories from our own backyard, so sit down, dim the lights as I tell you the story of Tasmania's haunted Parliament House. Parliament House was completed in 1840 in Hobart, Tasmania, and its purpose has changed over the years, but in the 1900s it was solely used by Tasmania's Parliament. For many years, rumours have been going around that this building is haunted by a ghost called Albert, and this ghost is said to be the cause of the paranormal activity that occurs here. Except no one really knows the origin of this spirit, but there are a couple of theories. Some people speculate that it's a ghost of a past convict, as an actual human skeleton was once found in the drainage tunnels that run underneath Parliament House. The other theory is that the ghost is actually of a former Tasmanian Premier called Albert Ogilvie, who died during his premiership in 1939. Except people don't think this theory makes much sense, since Albert didn't pass away at Parliament House. He actually died from a sudden heart attack after playing a game of golf in Victoria. But people still speculate that Albert is visiting Parliament House in the afterlife. And those that have been to Parliament House have reported an icy cold feeling in the House of Assembly chamber. And this presence particularly likes to hang out near the Speaker's chair, where Ogilvie once sat. A ghostly apparition of a busy-looking man has been spotted walking down the hallways, as well as the sound of shuffling books and paper in an empty library. Could this actually be the spirit of a former Tasmanian Premier? When you think about politics...
Alright guys, that's pretty much all there is for the Australian Parliament and what they got going on over there. But let's get back into Milton, what's really going on with these hurricanes.
So wait, nobody finds this odd? We'll get into it in a minute, but we know that we can see the aurora tonight until like 2 or 3 in the morning, right? And here's your viewing line if you're wondering. Anyways, does nobody else find it odd that this aurora and this strongest solar flare, I believe ever maybe, comes right after the strongest storm that we have ever seen and the most devastation we have ever seen to Western North Carolina, Tennessee, etc.? Right after? Well, let me show you something else. And the strongest ever storm comes after we have been tracking this for months? Let's go a little bit further. Why don't you go ahead and read this thing behind my head from Pop Science, a science article. My bad for my MIA the last few days. I was on a mission trip to West Virginia. And
earlier this week, researchers from the University of Alaska, Fairbanks, and several other U.S. institutions created artificial auroras by sending radio pulses into the Earth's ionosphere using high-frequency activation auroral research program transmitters on the ground.
Did you read it? And all of a sudden, after everything I've showed you, we're having these lights pop out that we have never really seen in this part of the country before? No, I'm just playing. I'm just throwing out stupid ideas. Anyways, make sure you get some pictures of this aurora. It's naturally occurring aurora. Seems to be the first for a lot of things, especially in 2024. So wait, nobody finds this odd? I can't tell or show you guys much, but I can show you this. Look how long this hurricane sits right on this direct area for. 7 hours, it does not move, it just turns. That is not normal. We have Asheville officials that are coming out and they're saying that it's a biblical disaster.
It is a biblical disaster, biblical proportion. It is a catastrophic event, but now we're sad to report it is a fatal event.
I can't tell y'all if it's biblical or not, but I've seen many videos of giant trumpet sounds going off while Helene was going on. Before you listen to it, I want you to know one thing. These noises were heard before and heard in certain scenarios, and these noises aren't actually trumpets. There's something else. Something that has to do with the weather.
What is that noise?
There's not just one video in one place of this. This is in multiple states. And all of Western NC is being cut off. This reminds me of something that happened in Hawaii. The officials in Nashville said there's one way in, and that's I-26 through South Carolina. And I happen to live in South Carolina, so I might be trying to coordinate going up there. If you're in South Carolina and want to come along and ride together, put a comment down. I get too many messages to read. This was truly a heartbreaking mass casualty event. There's even a Facebook group right now for all these people looking for their loved ones. So I'm attempting to start a prayer chain at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern, wherever you are, just bow your head for 5 minutes and pray. And don't forget, there's possibly 2 more on the way now, and it looks very likely. And if they're anything close to this, installing anything close to this, I have no idea what we're going to do. For absolutely no reason at all, I want to show you guys what aired on the news 9 years ago. Yes, 9 years.
And now we're learning that scientists and researchers are looking at how to change the weather on purpose. That's right. Lasers now could one day manipulate rain and lightning. See, I mean, lasers? Really? To change the weather?
That's right. Well, as Mark Twain once famously said, everyone complains about the weather, but no one ever does anything about it. Well, instead of doing a...
Everyone complains, but no one does anything about it. But don't you worry, because they're doing something about it. Wild, right? And completely unrelated, we have Hurricane Milton, Tropical Storm Milton, Hurricane Milton, which will be arriving in Florida on the 9th or 10th. And this will be the worst case scenario. But as we've learned, the worst case scenario really isn't the worst case scenario. Goodbye. For absolutely no reason at all, I want to show you guys what aired on the news. Y'all got to see this right now. So with Tropical Storm Hurricane Milton heading towards Florida, this is what the sky's looking like in Florida right now. Floridians, check in, comment below, tell me where you are and what the sky looks like. And do you notice anything kind of odd? And the hurricane forecast does get a little bit more unsettling. Let me show you why. By the way, this is not to scare you, this is for preparedness. Right now, Florida is set to get days full of storm-level rain before the new hurricane comes. If you remember correctly about Helene, western North Carolina and all that area got a whole bunch of rain before the storm came, which was partly what enabled so much of the destruction. Not to mention, we still have so much standing water all over the place from the last hurricane. Also, I want to show you all the tropical moisture in the environment right now. Y'all, please get prepared and please evacuate this time if needed. We had prior knowledge that 2024 hurricane season was going to be terrible. For many reasons. Goodbye. Y'all got to see this right now. So with tropical emergency, if you're in Florida, you need to evacuate as soon as possible. This is unheard of. Milton went from a tropical storm to a Category 5 hurricane in 24 hours. And guess what? Like usual, it gets deeper. I don't even like covering the freaking weather. A few days ago, I heard someone say that it's going to be the first Category 6 storm. They're saying it's going to drop to a 4. I don't believe them. Every weather report we've had for the last year has always been wrong and highly understated. And if this turns to the left, y'all know what that means. But let me go even further. Every single storm that followed the same track and started where Milton did ended up as a 1 or a tropical storm throughout all of history. And then all of a sudden it goes from tropical storm to Category 5 in 24 hours? Y'all, are you seeing this? This is by far the craziest thing that I have ever seen in my life thus far. I think that the storm surge is going to go well beyond what we have ever seen before. And don't forget about the sitting water all the way from Florida to Tennessee. Get out now. Emergency. If you're in Florida, you need to evacuate as soon. I have just received terrifying reports about the hurricane and about people on the ground in Florida. I believe that this will be the most important video I've made up to this point. Before we start, I just want to make you aware, the skies in Florida are looking like this again today. This hurricane is making reporters cry. I'm about to show it to you. This will be the most powerful storm that's ever hit Florida, maybe the U.S.
Incredible hurricane. It has dropped 50 millibars in 10 hours. I apologize. This is just horrific.
And he's not the only one. Ron DeSantis almost got caught in tears as well. They foresee the future. I'm receiving many reports from people on the ground in Florida saying that many cars will not start. I brought the solar flare up to y'all and the aurora because we knew something bad was coming. So let me get this straight. Many cars will not start. This is what the people are saying on the ground. And also they are out of freaking gas. I'm sorry, tell me again how people are supposed to evacuate the most dangerous storm the world has ever seen? And don't forget, I showed you this was the sky yesterday in Florida. As of right now, this hurricane is the second strongest hurricane on record. And unfortunately, yes, it gets worse. I've seen models where it goes through Florida and hits the Carolinas. And again, that's if it does not turn left in Florida like Helene. Last week after Helene, my gut told me instinctively, it's not getting better, it's gonna get worse. Yo, I just don't know what else to say, besides I'm praying. I have just received terror. This is the first time the news has ever said if you do not evacuate the hurricane, you will be unalive. But hear me, I have something big to show you after this.
This is literally catastrophic. And I can say without any dramatization whatsoever, if you choose to stay in one of the evacuation areas, you're going to.
Wow, I mean, that is an incredibly blunt message. And
I've never said that.
Now this right here is the monster that we're facing, and I want you to notice the weirdness of the patterns in the clouds. And as big as it is, and as strong as it tries to get stronger as it's weakened, I want to remind you one thing. Who is on the throne right now? Elijah stopped the rain for 3.5 years by the power of God. Let me tell you, regardless of how bad this looks, God answers the prayers of His faithful servants.
You stay, you will die.
Ils contrôlent le climat, dirigent les tempêtes, et grâce à elles, ils nous asservissent. On vit en plein Truman Show, un scénario à la Hunger Games. Ces catastrophes n'ont rien de naturel, elles sont fabriquées sur mesure. Ils utilisent des technologies comme HAARP en Alaska qui envoient des ondes radio dans l'ionosphère, tout en dispersant leurs traînées chimiques qu'on voit à longueur de journée. Toutes ces particules qu'ils dispersent dans le ciel, comme le barium et l'aluminium, servent à amplifier les tempêtes et les rediriger là où ils veulent. Le ciel s'est transformé en une sorte de grille magnétique contrôlable. Et vous avez déjà remarqué ces espèces de nuages fragmentés avant une tempête ? C'est en fait l'effet visible des ondes radio qu'ils envoient pour influencer la météo. Et en observant les images satellites autour des ouragans, on remarque des masses de nuages qui forment des quadrillages et des ondulations. Des motifs répétitifs qui apparaissent un peu partout. Une sorte de pattern qui est en fait un réseau électromagnétique. Tous ces motifs fractales dans le ciel nous montrent clairement que quelque chose agit sur l'atmosphère. Pas besoin d'être un expert pour comprendre que la nature ne crée pas ce genre de nuages. C'est pas le climat qui change, c'est la géo-ingénierie qui évolue.
If you stay, you will die.
Ils contrôlent le climat, dirigent les tempêtes, et grâce à elles...
If you do not know about the 100th monkey effect, which is quite possibly the most profound scientific discovery ever, then prepare to be mind blown. Now these Japanese snow monkeys were observed by a group of
Emergency.
Multi-World Center. I will explain. If our world had in that cloud, it would be very difficult to be reached from a distance. By another cloud being in the middle, it is more easily to be reached and worked by other civilizations. So it was a scheduled decision. Place our civilization at the center of the world, because it is more easily reached from several sides of civilizations coming from different sides.
So, most of you should know that there is a...
Alright, this is absolutely wild. You need to hear me through this. I'm going to try to talk it out as best I can. But that's me last night at Siesta Key Beach, and this is bioluminescence. And I literally just got done posting about this supposed asteroid coming to orbit Earth for a little while starting September 29th. And talking about how maybe it's just some sort of spiritual entity up in the sky and not an asteroid, because the Book of Enoch references stars as angels. So I literally just got done on my main account talking about stars and angels, and then I come over here to post on bioluminescence, and I click on this website, and one of the very first things it talks about is Luciferin production and how that causes the bioluminescence. Luciferin.
So everybody heard about the story of the petrified giants inside of the Bible, right? I think I just might have came across something that y'all might find very interesting. So all over the world, people have been finding these strange, mysterious...
The idea of a flat earth mixed in a...
Oh my goodness.
Holy shit.
Look at it all coming. Oh my goodness.
Holy shit. Look at it all coming.
So what is happening in the ionosphere to allow this control to take place? Ionospheric heaters use this D layer in the ionosphere. Notice it only forms in the daytime when the sun is up. At nighttime, it disappears completely, and the ionosphere is 170 miles up, and the ionospheric heaters cannot control the jet stream with that being so high up. But in the daytime, it's only 30 miles up. So here's a look at the hardware that's actually working out in the Pacific to destroy hurricanes and push warm air into the Arctic. This is the SBX-1 main transmitter unit, and off on the left here, you can see it's not a little doll or Barbie figure, it's a grown man. This is a really huge, terrible piece of hardware. That giant flat plate array transmitter is placed inside of a fabric radome, and this is a picture during assembly inside the radome. Each one of these little wedges is a transmit-receive module which transmits about 200 watts. So there are 45,000 transmit-receive modules, and this antenna can detect an object the size of a baseball at a range of 2,500 miles. That is why I say this thing can project all that power into a pinpoint beam, totally computer controlled. The dome is 120-foot diameter. The power source is 3.6 megawatt generators for a total of almost 22 megawatts. And this carbon platform has a tow ship to move it around, so that 22 megawatts is not actually designed to go into the engines. That is designed to go into the transmitter unit. Other U.S. Navy ships have powerful microwave transmitters. This is the U.S. Navy ship Howard O. Lorenzen. It looks small, but it's actually 534 feet long. Each phased array, the boxes on the top of the deck, is a phased array transmitter. Synthetic aperture radar, whatever you want to call it, weighs 250 tons. And there's a crew of 88 on board. This is a gigantic ionospheric heater, again, in a different format.
A giant ionosphere heater? Oh, don't they say hurricanes get more powerful if they're more heated up? Damn, what are they doing?
I don't know if this electric company is some sort of sick joke or if it's something much, much bigger than that. But my friend Jeff saw this truck literally miles away from my house in Florida. Florida, where Hurricane Milton is literally heading for that direct spot where he saw that Nephilim electric truck. And I don't know how much you know about the Bible, but it's talked about how Jesus will return when it is just like the days of Noah. And during the days of Noah, the Nephilim walked the earth, and they were warring with each other, and they were manipulating and corrupting DNA, kind of like what's going on now. Only we don't look around and see these giant Nephilim now, but I still think they're here, and just on a much, much smaller scale. And I don't really think this is a real company, because look at their website. Welcome to Nephilim, where the name itself encapsulates our essence, the convergence of angels symbolized in support during challenging times. But they reveal themselves. I want to show you. We're eager to connect with owners, sharing the pride we take in our unified approach in demonstrating. Let's just stop there. I couldn't help but see pride, as in the pride of the fallen angels, and demonstrating, but I noticed that part of that word. And I've seen that somewhere before. That's right. Right there. Now, if you're still unaware that this world is actually run by the fallen angels that came down to Mount Hermon and mated with the human women and created their offspring of the Nephilim who turned into the giants, well, you got some research to do. And while obviously we don't see giants walking amongst us in these days, I think their bloodlines are still here and running all the things behind the scenes. And the fact that this truck is literally hanging out in that area of Florida where the most insane Hurricane Milton is just coming in my opinion, to devastate that poor state that I just evacuated. There's something to this. It's not just a group of people having fun with the name. There's something more. And I just also want to use this time to just wish all my fellow Floridians just luck and be safe. And I'll be praying for all of you. Hopefully most of you got out of there. For those of you that didn't, hunker down, say prayers, and man, I love you guys. Be tough. And may the God be with you. None of these little G gods that are prancing around. The God. I don't know if
Father God, please just protect them. People that are still in Florida that did not get out in time, we just ask you wash over them. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
It's time to find out if the Wendy's Krabby Patty is legit. According to SpongeBob, the
Buzz Aldrin went down there to Antarctica.
I hear the train a-coming. It's rolling around the bend. And I ain't seen the sunshine. I don't know when. I'm stuck in Folsom Prison, and time keeps dragging on. But that train keeps rolling. All down the San Antonio. I hear the train a-coming.
They are aiming that boy, aren't they?
Did y'all see what happened to China? Bro, look at this, y'all. Boulder size hell came down raining from the sky, y'all. What? Look at that. Look at these are boulders, y'all. This was today. Look at this. Look at this, y'all. Did y'all hear that? It sounded like gunshots going off. Oh my goodness, man, yo. In some places the hail wasn't as big, but this particular spot over here seen huge boulders of ice coming from the sky, y'all. Like, what is that about? Could that be like the frozen, you know, chemicals like that's coming down? That's crazy, y'all. Yo, what is going on? I personally have never seen hail in real life before, y'all. But that right there,
I have. And it does hurt, especially if they're golf ball sizes. You know, they do hurt. But that size, that is ridiculous.
So I just found out that Tampa Bay is set to become a smart city. It's on the list of places to become smart cities, just like Lahaina was in Hawaii.
All right, now what is a smart city?
Someone is going to have to explain this. Did you know the most recent Hurricane Helene, that was a Category 4, that made landfall on September 26th, is not the first Hurricane Helene that was a Category 4 that gained hurricane strength on September 26th? According to the National Weather Service, the most recent Hurricane Helene made landfall September 26th, and it was a Category 4. September 26th, 1958, another hurricane strength, September 26th, Category 4. That is a crazy coincidence. Someone is going to have to explain this. Did you?
All right, guys, people kept mentioning on my last video, 15-minute cities, 15-minute cities. Let's see exactly what is a 15-minute city.
This comment sent me down a rabbit hole, and I dug deep at 3 o'clock in the morning to find the connection of the movie 1BR to the concept of 15-minute cities. So let's talk about it to answer the big question. Was the movie 1BR really created to expose the truth behind 15-minute cities? First, let's begin by defining what a 15-minute city is. Because I live under a rock, I didn't know. But these are small communities that were built as a way to give residents everything they needed within a 15-minute walk or bike ride from home. The concept first emerged back in the 1920s, and it was created with the goal of increasing accessibility. Your job, department stores, the movie theater, anything you needed was just around the corner. Which in turn, these communities can reach a high level of sustainability for its residents, and an overall better quality of life. So now that we have that covered, let's talk about the movie 1BR. It's a 2019 psychological thriller, and it follows the story of a young woman who moves into a seemingly perfect community. But the longer she stays there, she starts to realize some very strange things. Soon learning that the people living in this community are trying to control her and get her to conform to their way of life. And when it's clear that she's refusing to follow their lead, well, things take a very sinister turn. Now my favorite part, let's get into the theories. Some people have apparently turned away from moving into these 15-minute cities because aside from the gentrification that takes place, many of them feel that it's a totalitarian plot and theorize that it must be something greater going on with these large organizations. People have even pushed back on the installation of cameras within these communities because they have this fear that they're always going to be watched. And the scariest theory of them all is that it is felt as them as residents will one day be restricted from driving on certain roads, or even leaving these 15-minute cities in general. It's very much giving Big Brother from the book 1984 by George Orwell, if you're into that kind of stuff. And I mean also very similar to the atmosphere given in 1BR. But can we say that 1BR was created to expose the truth behind these 15-minute cities? In my opinion, it definitely exposes the theories and what people fear could happen. But with my knowledge in marketing and media, one thing I can definitively say is that people are going to continue to reuse these types of concepts because they know that it will almost always gain popularity amongst the masses. And I feel like it's because of the conspiracies that revolve around them. That's why we see so many movies about zombie apocalypses and the end of days. But unfortunately, we won't know the truth until it's right in front of our faces. And sometimes even when that happens, we don't even see it. But what do you guys think? Are 15-minute cities surely a plot to control the masses? Or is that a bunch of rubbish? If you've seen the movie 1BR, let us know what you thought about it in the comments.
It's a little concerning that Tampa was on the list to be a 15-minute city. Let me know your thoughts below about that.
So you want your borders closed. You want closed borders, okay? Because you know that WEF have got a plan. Yeah, they've got a plan. And they got a plan that they want all the borders open, right? All the borders are going to be open. But hold on a minute. Didn't we remove ourselves from Europe, which was a WEF plan? Which took away our freedom of movement to the continent that we are actually connected to by train. Doesn't sound like open borders to me, does it? And now, the other one, right? Open borders and 15-minute cities. So who are the borders going to be open to? Is it just going to be UK citizens that are going to be caught up in 15-minute cities? Or what? Just tell me what you're thinking.
It looks like it's coming to America too. They trying.
I get so angry when I see a picture like this, which shows Atlanta before and after we became a car-first society, before we knocked all of that down and put parking lots everywhere. Up until mid-20th century, most Americans lived a short walkable distance or public transit ride away from where they worked, shopped, worshipped, or educated. But then progressive urban planners like Robert Moses decided to refashion our towns and cities. They did their damnedest to get rid of mixed-use development, pushing people out to residential-only zoning far away from downtown, meaning that you had to get a car to go anywhere. But that meant lots of people driving everywhere, which meant lots of traffic, so they had to bulldoze entire neighborhoods to put in more highways. You can actually see the ghostly footprint of some of these old neighborhoods on Zillow maps, like this one here from Chicago. And then since you had to take the car to wherever you were going, you needed vast asphalt deserts, parking lots everywhere, like this shot from downtown Denver. And those decisions had vast knock-on effects. It changed pretty much every aspect of how you and I do life. Instead of shopping in the retail center downtown, big mega malls are placed out on the edge of town. Local parish-style churches in every neighborhood were replaced by massive megachurch stadiums out in the exurbs. It's so profound a change that when you see a picture like this, you immediately think Europe. And yes, this is the Netherlands. But what people don't realize is that almost all of the United States looked like this. But we chose differently. We chose poorly. We paved paradise and put up a parking lot.
Please deposit 1 month. Please deposit 2 months.
There are more of these than I remember. That was a year.
Welcome to New Greenwich. What are you really doing here?
I'm gonna take them for everything they've got.
I'm gonna take them for everything they got. Man, I love that movie. In Time, starring Justin Timberlake. That was a great movie. These 15-minute cities. That last one took a year.
Good morning, good afternoon, or whatever time of day. So here's my hot take on these 15-minute cities. Go live in Brooklyn, go live in New York City, just go. Tell me if you enjoy life. Because I used to wake up and dry heave. And everything beautiful in New York City was behind a fence or a gate, and you couldn't touch it. And if you sat on the grass in some parks, you would get a ticket. Literally just like having a picnic, you're getting a ticket. Do we want to live that way? I don't want to live that way.
Unbelievable. What's it gonna do? Scratch up your car if you don't show your little parking ticket? Oh, man.
Hours before Hurricane Milton makes landfall, sandhill cranes. Hours before Hurricane Milton makes landfall, sandhill cranes gather around, emitting sharp, urgent calls as if they're signaling the need to flee. Hours before Hurricane Milton makes.
Those sand cranes are definitely trying to tell him something. What could they possibly be saying?
Emitting sharp, urgent calls as if they're signaling the need to flee.
Weeks now, they're doing military exercises out there, although it looks like rain, it's not. Showers here are legitimate. This is not rain, as we've been telling you for the past 2 weeks now.
What did he mean it looks like rain, but it's not?
I did radiotomography with 30 watts, looking for oil in the ground. I found 26 oil wells over a 9-state area, and 100% of the time was accurate with just 30 watts of power beaming straight into solid rock. HARP uses 1 billion watts, beamed straight into the ionosphere for experiments. Picture these strings on the piano as layers of the earth. Each one has its own frequency. What we used to do is beam radio waves into the ground, and it would vibrate any strings that were present in the ground. We might get a sound back like, and we'd say, that's natural gas. We might get a sound back like, and we say that's crude oil. We were able to identify each frequency. We accomplished this with just 30 watts of radio power. If you do this with 1 billion watts, the vibrations are so violent that the entire piano would shake. In fact, the whole house would shake. In fact, the vibrations could be so severe underground that could even cause an earthquake. In 1983, I did radiotomography with 30 watts, looking for oil in.
I
Hurricanes are experiments.
hurricanes was real too?
Good morning. This tank gives scientists and the rest of us a view no one has ever had before. What a hurricane's power looks like at water level as it storms ashore. In just 2 minutes, scientists here can take calm waters and turn them into a monster hurricane.
They could do what now?
The wind is gradually getting stronger and stronger as it's coming up here, and it's ramping up to a Category 5. It's probably about a Category 3 right now.
We use nature as a weapon.
This 75-foot-long tank is the first simulator in the world. A laser could start the rain.
Pay attention.
You can almost use it to set it off. Matt Mills got into lasers as a kid. It's just innately cool.
Now he's part of a team of scientists and military backers on the cutting edge of a new technology. We created a cloud of our own behind Matt's lab. A few months ago, Matt's colleagues in Arizona got this working experimentally. The next step is to get it to work in the sky.
Particles in the air are rubbing together, forming static electricity, and the conditions are now right.
And they just need to be triggered now. Does this concern you that you may be messing with Mother Nature and doing something that you don't completely understand up here in the cloud?
I mean, I suppose that's always a danger, but we're not even near to the case where it could be dangerous yet, so not too much.
It's almost like an on-off switch for a thunderstorm.
That's the idea behind it.
Hurricanes are experiments.
Hurricanes was real too?
Channel because, well, frankly, it's pretty amateur and the voiceover is pretty terrible. However, given the current events that are taking place right now involving weather, I think it's very important and you should definitely see this. I thought it was more fitting to show you the original video I made back then rather than make a new one because it just shows how long they've been doing this. You can look in the description.
That looks like a straight demon smiling. Oh my God.
La madre, ¿qué chingos es eso? Válgame la Virgen Santísima, pues ¿qué es eso, José? Mira. ¿Qué es eso? Se está partiendo el pinche... ¡Ah!
Half the country's...
La madre, ¿qué chingos es eso?
I don't even speak Spanish, but I can tell you what he's saying.
Mira.
That looks like a straight grid. They're using this grid to direct it. I see now. That does not make any sense. It's almost like they're trying to do a reset, but they don't have the technology. And they're using this grid to guide it. They just don't have the technology anymore. They're trying to, but they just, because people are waking up, if you ask me. But this is, you cannot say this is a grid. This is not a grid. Look at that. It looks like something straight out of this, honestly. For entertainment purposes only. This entire video, entertainment purposes only. Do your own research on everything. None of this has been fact checked. You gotta ask yourselves, what is this? I'll give you a hint. It's not the Death Star, but they damn near on the same team. Drop in the comments below if you know what this is.
That's pretty cool.
It is. It's impressive. Yeah, there he is.
That looks just like the cloud patterns we seen earlier.
Modification has been happening for years. They have machines, you have HARP, all these things to create weather, to create toxic clouds.
The government of the UAE is trying new things to create rainfall across their dry desert nation. They came up with an idea to modify the outtake of a plane engine to literally form clouds. This is called cloud seeding, an interesting idea. Engineers at NASA's Stennis Space Center in Mississippi test a new RS-25 rocket engine. The burn lasted for 8.5 minutes, and when finished, a massive cloud loomed over the facility, one of the largest man-made clouds ever created.
This is from weather model.
One flare like this has billions and billions of potential sites for that water to congregate around. We'll launch them in sequences. We watch the radar to see when bands of the highest concentration of liquid water are passing above us in the clouds, and we try to target those high concentration pockets in the storm systems. We'll launch between 3 and 20 flares for a typical storm. Once the flare is lit, it takes a little bit of time to carry up into the clouds. And once it's up at the proper elevation, it'll take about 20 minutes to instigate the rain or the snow process. So overall, you're probably looking at about 40 to 45 minutes before you're seeing the maximum result. And that's why we're stationed miles away from our target area. So we have very specific targets that drain directly into major water basins. And we time these events correlate with rain above those intended targets.
But that's all I got for today's episode. If you guys made it this far, be sure to write the code word in the comments. Prepare. The code word in today's video is prepare. Make sure you drop it in the comments so I know you're a real one. You made it all the way through this video, and I appreciate you guys. Yeah, today was a wild one, man. Today's the day. I just pray everyone's doing good and everyone's ready, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Same place, same time. Peace out.